You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Rob Anderson and Jason Brown.
All right. Good Thursday afternoon, Rob. Brian, how are you guys?
Greetings.
Good to be here.
Yeah. It smells a little weird in here. I was at a soybean field all morning, so
All right.
I'm scared too.
Yeah.
You know, have been outside.
How was it out
Got
there?
a good,
Hot and
got
dry?
a good sweat in.
Yeah,
Yeah, hot and dry. You know, same story for like a month and a half now.
that's right. It's been a story all over the place. In fact, we've seen a lot of our farmers making appearances in the news and stories on TV talking about it because it's a real issue.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, so no real relief in the extended forecast, as I'm being told. So
Yeah.
no good news there.
We're
but,
starting with our weekly bummer. That's great.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, how about we go on a high note? So,
Okay. Yes.
something I know absolutely nothing about because I'm, I don't know. I guess I've reached the old crotchety stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I refuse to add any new social media channels to my life.
Yeah.
But as I've heard the young kids say in the hallway, our TikTok is like
TikTok's
blowing up.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were going with blowing up.
I don't know if I can even say that, but
Well,
I'll try it.
yeah, we, in case you're unaware, there's now an Arkansas Farm Bureau TikTok, and we've been posting some of our great videos, clips, and segments from that. And we had one just, what was it, yesterday? When was
National
the one that was
Cow
blowing?
Day,
It was Cow.
right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Cow Appreciation Day.
Oh, okay.
Which was
Wow,
earlier
I
this week.
appreciate all the cows.
So we encourage you to check that out.
Yeah. So that's good news.
Join the party over there on
yeah.
TikTok if that's your thing.
Yeah. Anything else?
We were also on the Vine again this week, KTHV.
Okay.
Yeah, and because it was Cow Appreciation Day, we were talking dairy.
Yeah. I think we rolled in perhaps the largest cow that has been in the studio, down there at THV.
This is one of our educational cows, not the real cow, not a real cow.
That's true.
They had some fun with that, and they tried some dairy foods, tried to guess whether it was a cow or goat.
Yeah.
And it was a fun little segment.
Yeah.
You can find that on our Facebook page if you want to see the link to that and check that out.
I think we're having a lot of fun on the Vine with those folks and teaching them quite a bit about agriculture. That's at 9 o'clock. I think that show comes on at 9 a.m. in the morning.
And we're usually shortly after the 9 o'clock hour. We're on there on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Typically Tuesdays.
I think the next one is a Thursday,
Yeah,
the
I think so.
28th of this month. But yeah. So catch us on the Vine or go to our Facebook page to see our appearance from last week.
That's right.
Or this week.
And you may actually see live cattle at some point on the Vine.
I heard they made us promise
that's
to
right.
bring, if we were going to bring a fake cow this time, we
have
to
to bring
them
something
a
real.
real cow.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
There's something coming up, Arkansas Rice Field Day. I think we want to make sure we mention that. It hasn't been in person in a while.
That's right. And I just saw an update on that before we came down. So I knew that Discovery Farms was kind of putting this on or has a major role in it. I just saw that they're doing that now in partnership. I say it now. It was new to me. In partnership with Anheuser-Busch. But either way, August 5th in Stuttgart.
Right.
It will be the Arkansas Rice Field Day. Like you said, first time back in a while. Usually that's based there at that university building. And then the field tours leave from there. So please make plans to attend that if you're a rice farmer. I think they have a rice recipe contest down there.
I think you can follow us on social media. We'll probably provide an update on that or a promotion of it. And it's a big event. It's good to have it back.
Yeah, and then I had one more.
Yeah.
So because last week we talked about the fact that O&L is coming up next week. If you're not familiar with the Farm Bureau vernacular,
Arkansas Farm Bureau lingo.
Yeah, it's our annual Officers and Leaders event, and our young farmers and ranchers will follow that. But we will be in Rogers for that event.
That is right.
Next Thursday. So a little bit of good news, a little bit of not so great news, I guess. The really good news is we're going to do a live podcast from the event.
That's right. Live. May have some exciting guests. Who knows what's going to happen? We just don't know what time yet.
Yeah, that's the bad news is that we've got to work through the schedules, and our producer has, as we talk about almost every episode, he has many hats to wear at that event.
You have nothing else going on up there, right?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan is producing not just the podcast, but a show.
That event. Yeah. So we'll let you know. Stay tuned. Certainly if you're at the event, we'll let you know. But if you follow us on Facebook or YouTube, we'll let you know there what time to catch us. And then, as always, you can catch us up on the playback, which is
Fridays.
Anywhere you want. Where do you like to listen? Or you can just rewatch it on YouTube or Facebook.
So. Who knows? Next week we'll have a musical. I mean,
we might. Just trivia.
First musical episode. No one wants that.
Name that tune.
No one wants that.
Well, I know what I don't want. Tennis trivia against you.
That's right.
I forgot about that. My shining moment last week.
Yeah. Well, we better get into the news.
Yeah. Well, first up, I have some upcoming events and deadlines to make note of. So appropriate. We've talked about a couple of events. The application deadline is approaching for the Rice Leadership Development Program. It's a program designed to give future leaders a comprehensive understanding of the rice industry. It's an emphasis on personal development and communication skills. The program has been around for more than 30 years, and a lot of U.S. rice industry leaders are alumni of this. The deadline for application for the 2023-25 class is September 9th. Class members attend 4 one-week sessions over a 2-year period. They study all aspects of the industry. It's firsthand observation, and they attend seminars and workshops to strengthen their leadership skills. USA Rice develops and manages the Rice Leadership Development Program on behalf of the Rice Foundation. Applicants must be between 25 and 45 and derive their primary livelihood as rice producers or from a rice industry-related profession or firm, including rice mills, rice product marketers, sales officials, suppliers, dryers, extension services, or research facilities. Participants from the industry-related category must serve the rice industry in their primary job responsibility. I thought since there were a lot of qualifications there, we needed to mention all those.
For sure.
You can apply through the USA Rice website, usarice.com. Just find the link at the top of the page to the Rice Foundation. And they'll have information there on the leadership program.
Okay.
All applicants receive notification on whether they have been selected as a finalist, and the finalists must be available. And this is how you know this is a serious deal. Yeah. Personal interviews. You have to be available for personal interviews conducted by the Rice Leadership Selection Committee in Austin, Texas, in December 2022.
Okay.
So you got to be ready for that. A special committee of rice industry and agribusiness leaders evaluate the finalists to determine who will make up the class. The 2023-25 Rice Leadership class will be announced at the annual awards luncheon at the USA Rice Outlook Conference. Okay, meanwhile, it's also time to apply for the Center for Arkansas Farms and Food, or CAF, as they call it for short, Farm School for 2023. CAF will host a virtual information session about the program via Zoom on July 22nd. CAF is a program of the Arkansas Agricultural Experiment Station through the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture. Their programs train farmers and food entrepreneurs with production and business skills and resources necessary to develop resilient businesses. Both farm and food entrepreneur programs are based at the Arkansas Agricultural Experiment Station's Milo J. Schultz Agricultural Research and Extension Center, which is in Fayetteville. You can sign up for the information session if you're intrigued by this at farmandfoodsystem.uada.edu/farm-school. So that's the Farm and Food System is the website where you'll find all the CAF info, and then you can find the info on the farm school and how to apply.
Yeah, I think folks come in from all over the country for this. Like, you don't have to be an Arkansas resident. Right. There was a feature. I read a feature of one of their students last year, and I think he's from the Northeast. But anyway, that's a really, really cool program. Yep. Go to school and learn to be a farmer.
Very interesting, and I'm sure it's valuable stuff. I mean, this is a tricky economic environment out there, so all the business learning you can do is probably helpful if you're getting into agriculture.
Yeah. Well, staying on that theme of agriculture, Arkansas poultry farmers are beginning to breathe a bit of relief as we inch further from the threat of the highly pathogenic avian influenza or avian flu. which is caused by an influenza type A virus, which can infect poultry and wild birds. I'm knocking on wood here. There are no treatments or vaccines available to control the disease, so Arkansas poultry farmers and owners of backyard flocks have been on high alert really since the first quarter of this year when we started to see these outbreaks. The Arkansas Ag Department issued an emergency rule on March 23rd that provided strict guidelines for anyone owning or exhibiting poultry in the state. As of today, the state has managed to avoid having any cases of the disease in any flock, commercial or backyard, and the emergency rule goes away next weekend on July the 23rd.
Good news.
And that's why we wanted to bring that up today. Yeah. Jada Thompson, assistant professor of the agribusiness in the Department of Ag Economics and Agribusiness, recently said that she believes Arkansas farmers have kept flocks safe based on lessons learned in biosecurity when we had the 2015 avian flu outbreak. That outbreak, generally speaking for the country, was the largest poultry disaster in U.S. history, according to the USDA. So thankfully we've managed to, I know many of us have gotten notifications every time a new case had been announced in the country, and we were a nervous wreck. So we'll continue to watch this over the next week, but it does seem that
it was nice to see that kind of trickle and disappear from the news. We were getting pretty consistent updates, and that has not happened. And that's good news.
And so the warmer weather has helped. I know that was that was one of the points of the July 23rd deadline is that heat, much like other illnesses that we have seen in society, sort of helps squash that down. So anyway, good news.
That is good news. Unfortunately, I'm going to talk about inflation now, so I'm changing the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I just realized I've got a jacket on today. I look a little nice.
You look like you should be talking about inflation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't. We're going to talk econ now. We're going to do some economics, so I had to look appropriate.
You know what you need though? Elbow patches.
You're right.
If you're going to have the professor feel, you got to have corduroy and exactly.
All right. Well, the Consumer Price Index hit this week. It's a monthly report showing how the economy is doing as it relates to inflation and purchasing power for consumers. It was projected to be about 1.1% higher, but it was actually about 1.3% higher this month. This was the largest move up since 2005, and it means we have a 9.1 CPI, Consumer Price Index. We haven't seen that since 1981. So that was kind of striking for a lot of people.
Sure.
What does this mean for the economy is what you may be asking. Well, Arkansas Farm Bureau economist Mark Lambert gave me a few answers on this. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. First, it means, the Federal Reserve, which has been signaling rate increases to help bring inflation under control, might take stronger action. There's if you listen to business radio, which I did to prepare for just this segment today, they talk a lot about what the Federal Reserve is going to do, and that they're expecting some bigger move now. It means they could announce a 3.75% rate increase to potentially a full percentage point, and that makes it more difficult to borrow, and it's going to raise debt across all sectors.
Yeah.
So fuel and food are the largest movers in the CPI number, and that impacts both farmers and the public, consumers, because it means less disposable income after you make those necessary purchases of food or fuel for transportation and things you're doing on the farm. If you take out food and energy prices, that gives you a core CPI value, and those are the most volatile. This indicator rose 0.7% to 5.9%. So essentially, food and energy prices are the real key here, and that's what's exploding.
Yeah.
That brings me to what Mark says about what could be critical for those in agriculture to watch in the coming months. How U.S. exports are shaping up against the rest of the world as we move into harvest. With the dollar trading much higher, and I think I saw the other day that the dollar and the euro were even and that was
this week I think.
I guess I should have thought about going to Europe.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, with the dollar trading much higher, importing American commodities becomes much less favorable because they're more expensive than other options. And in other words, it becomes difficult to purchase quality over price, and that has an impact on U.S. imports and U.S. agricultural exports. U.S. exports. To provide an example, Mark pointed out the USDA released its WASDE report this week as well. It showed marginally higher ending stocks in soybeans. It's how many soybeans are out there and stocks. And while world production was essentially unchanged, trade data suggests less movement of old crop soybeans because exports from the U.S. are unfavorable due to that higher dollar. This is also a concern for soybean meal exports, as it was lower due to worldwide ongoing lockdowns and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. Meal is a primary source for animal feed, so there's a lot happening here, and none of it good, but there's some things to watch on that exporting front and how the dollar rising is going to impact that. So that's why I had the jacket on today. We got into some economics, but it's important stuff that could have an impact on agriculture.
Yeah, WASDE, part of that, I guess it was last week's report, not the WASDE report, but anyway, knocked down stock projections for the state quite a bit. I think we were down 50,000 acres on soybeans, less than what we had actually thought in planning projections. So, and I know there's been a lot of movement in the UN this week to try and talk about some of the wheat export there in Russia and Ukraine. So a lot of work going on out within inflation and some of these adjacent things.
And if you hear out there a lot of talk about even crazy and economic storms out there, and what they're saying is even if things get more under control in the U.S., there's so much going on in the world, whether it's conflicts or some of these issues with something I'll talk about in a minute, some of the actual transporting of goods. It's going to be crazy for a little while.
It's tough. I mean, we export so much of the crops that we raise here that those really world events, global events, can really impact grain markets and farmers here big time. But I don't want to step on the toes of your stories moving forward. And at you. Well.
We're going to become a regular thing. I'm auditioning for Bloomberg or something like that.
Yeah, I can see it right now. Yeah, what is that guy on that does the stocks with he's kind of bald and he's got the goatee? Kramer. Jim Kramer.
Jim Kramer.
That's his.
Well, I'm going to have to get really excited. I'm going to have to up the energy level. I'm going to go that route.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of crops, progress, condition, all that good stuff, it's time to give an update on that as we've done in the past several weeks. According to USDA's weekly report, which was released on Monday, we're seeing dry soil across a vast majority of the state. I know that's probably not a surprise to anybody, but I really want to try and quantify that for you guys. So topsoil moisture supplies. This is important because a lot of times it's the topsoil that is our first sort of indicator of that plants can need water. How does that tie into inflation? Diesel fuel costs, $5 diesel. I talked to Mark earlier this week. He had done some loose calculations, I think, and was like at 80% over. Diesel was up 80% over last year. So when you have moisture issues in topsoil, that can be an issue. So topsoil moisture supplies. Let me get back on track here. Sure. Topsoil moisture supplies is short to very short in 91% of the state. Wow. That is just about as low as you can go, with 0% of the ground measuring moisture surplus. So 91% is very short to very short topsoil moisture. That said, at least 60%, in some cases much higher, like 80%, but at least 60% across the board with corn, cotton, peanuts, rice, and soybean acres in the state is rated as good to excellent right now. Matter of fact, I mentioned being out in the field. We were with Jeremy Ross in a soybean field here in Lone Oak, talking about just this topic. So I'll pause to give a plug for our usual crop updates. And our soybean crop update is coming tomorrow. But anyway, so again, back on track. Soybeans, corn, cotton, peanuts, rice, and soybean acres in the state are rated good to excellent right now. The hay crop is not doing as well. And as we've reported in several episodes of the show, the hay crop has performed poorly really all year. Only 8% of the alfalfa crop is good right now, and no acres are rated as excellent. All other hay crop comes in at 32% good and 1% excellent. This is all according to the USDA. It's unlikely that you'll get another cut of hay this year. I think we're complete with the first cut, about halfway through with the second cut. So just, makes me think of the podcast's biggest fan, Dan Wright. And I know he's, probably certainly dealt with some of this stuff. But anyway, just again, a quick reminder, don't forget about our mid-year crop updates and the Arkansas Farm Bureau social channels if you'd like to hear from the university crop specialists, and we'll continue reporting on crop health here each week.
Yep. You can find them on Facebook all over the place. We'll have it's coming tomorrow, you said.
Yeah, I think it'll be up tomorrow. Jeremy Ross. So.
All right.
Anyway, how about we take a break from the news and learn how you can be a champion for your community.
Your Arkansas Farm Bureau membership supports our work on behalf of Arkansas farmers, ranchers, and rural communities around the state. From youth leadership programs and academic scholarships to hunger relief and disaster support, and much more. You can make a difference and be a champion for your community. Join today at arfb.com.
Did you know that a $40 annual ARFB membership contributes to the work being done in your local community and also the agriculture advocacy work we do in the state and at the national level? Your membership truly matters for farmers and communities across the state. We always like to mention that because it supports a lot of great work across the board at the local level. So now let's get back to some news, shall we?
Let's do it.
Just a quick note or two about some interesting reports that came out this week from the American Farm Bureau via their market intel updates. First, they released a report about how ongoing transportation and shipping disruptions at each step of the supply chain are causing frustration for producers and customers alike, and this is what I hinted at earlier, these issues that are impacting some of the trade. Both railways and ocean ports play an essential role in moving agricultural goods to their destinations. And service disruptions, delays, heightened costs for shippers persisted well into the second quarter of this year across ports and railways all over the country. They go into some detail about rail delays and snafus that have led to unfulfilled grain orders and lack of containers and equipment that are causing problems at your major ports. Must be thinking about Front Porch, our magazine that comes out soon.
Oh, that was clever.
Boom. Yeah.
Clever. I got to give it to you.
Thank you. Anyway, problems at major ports. Legislation such as the Ocean Shipping Reform Act should assist in the movement of U.S. agricultural goods, and there have been some other efforts, but this is a big and complex issue that is going to take a while. Another report this week detailed how strong dairy prices are not really helping dairy farmers around the country. Again, we've seen this in other areas of farming, but thanks to huge increases in operating expenses, it's just it's not helping. While prices, demand, and exports of dairy have remained strong, feed costs remain well above average, and uncertainty is all over the place. Inflation, in fact, could play a role in this, as it could impact the demand for dairy products, and margins are already getting pretty thin. So that it's only looking more problematic.
Yeah.
These are interesting reports about some unfortunately negative trends, and you can find them at fb.org/market-intel, fb.org/market-intel.
One of the things that we talked about on THV this week, when we were talking about the dairy industry, is the fact that we, in the early mid 80s, we had hundreds of dairies here, and now I think we have fewer than 30 dairies in the state of Arkansas. So, and much of that is, you talk to our team, is due to the cost of maintaining a dairy.
So many issues for dairy, and that's the thing. I think people we had a great appearance there, and people are enjoying
for sure.
We had some local products, locally produced dairy products, and people are all very supportive and of dairy and love the idea of Arkansas dairies, but there just aren't as many anymore, and that's because of some of these challenges.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about is, well, a great thing about dairy is you can walk into your grocery store, you can buy those products at the farmer's market. In some cases in Arkansas, you can go to a dairy farm and buy those products, So really, really unique industry there with its own set of challenges, as you mentioned. Well, I think I've got the last story of the day here. So just to get back to this happened to me last week. As most of us around here know, the number of uses for soybeans is almost countless, and this recent story is a great example of the many uses of soybeans. For the first time in its commercial truck tires, that's important, Goodyear is replacing a portion of the petroleum-based materials used in the production of some of its most popular Metro Miler city transit tires with a bio-based soybean oil compound.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the new formulation of tires uses a readily available surplus of soybean oil that's left over from food applications in the marketplace. Goodyear discovered that soybean oil could improve tire flexibility at low temperatures, helping the rubber to remain pliable in cold weather and enhancing traction in rain and snow simultaneously. Additionally, Goodyear discovered that soybean oil mixes more easily with rubber compounds and reduces energy consumption, which improves tire manufacturing efficiency. The project is a part of Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company's cooperation with the United Soybean Board. Goodyear has used soybean oil in consumer tires for a few years now, but this is the first time it's included soybeans in its commercial tire lines.
I got to tell you, that's an interesting story. I like to hear those kind of stories. It's fun.
Yeah.
New uses for some of these farm products, and it's fascinating.
So funny story. 12? No, my goodness. Maybe 13 years ago, my very first work in agriculture as a professional was with soybeans, and my very first announcement was how soybeans were used in the foam of Ford truck seats. So continue to see with the truck seats and the tires. I'd just be really interested to know how much of a vehicle, which is funny because, Henry Ford is actually who pioneered new uses with soybeans. I mean, he was playing around with soybeans. He made a suit with soybeans. He made it into material. Now I'm stepping on Brian's toes of trivia, but he made a suit with soybeans back in the day. So it's really fun. I would love to see. Maybe we could do that. Find out how much of a vehicle or what different components in a vehicle, from tires to seats to whatever, involve agricultural products, which would be soybeans mostly, probably.
Well, I got to tell you, I may beat you in tennis trivia, but you got me in the soybean trivia.
I just love it that so much is there's such a concerted effort to not have any waste.
Yeah.
No waste at all.
That's what this is. This is
so
food
much
waste.
Yeah, it's like we could use this for. It's just it's amazing.
And it translates to the farmers. The reason new uses are so important is because that translates another market opportunity for the farmer, another competitor for those beans or that oil or whatever that may be. So it's just it's cool to see stuff like that. So
that's great.
Well, do you have any history or trivia or fun facts?
I do actually have a few good ones.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll go. I'll take them in reverse order. We'll just
Okay.
keep going further into history. But you're not cheating, are you? You can't see.
No. I can't. No.
All right. You want to try to guess the year?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Sure. All right. Hope this is likely a little bit easier one.
Okay.
Okay.
In this year, on this day, American baseball great Hank Aaron hit his 500th career home run.
Oh, gosh. Are you as good at baseball as you are at tennis?
79.
Oh.
About a decade too late.
Yeah. I was going to say 65, but
close.
I'm not a baseball
close,
guy.
sir. It was 1968.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Next one.
All right.
British ethologist Jane Goodall
Yes.
on this day first arrived in Tanzania,
Mm-hmm.
where she began her groundbreaking research with chimpanzees
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in 19.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
This has
man.
got to be like 68.
No, earlier.
Really?
Yep.
She's the one who worked with Coco, right? Yeah.
1776. Now,
It's 1960.
1960.
Okay.
My goodness.
All right.
All right.
One more.
all right.
All right.
One more. And this is an old one. But American gunfighter Billy the Kid was shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett on this day in.
Oh, gosh.
Don't even go 1900s.
Yeah,
This
no,
is,
I was going to say
1846.
1846. People at home are probably like beating the steering wheel or.
1892.
Close. 1881.
Okay.
So-
All right.
I was playing Price is Right rules. Well, that's fun. I think we should do that every
Yeah.
week now.
Well, that's all I got for you today.
Okay. Yeah, we get to make
That's
fools
pretty
of
solid
ourselves,
mix.
and
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
that's super good. Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up the news and the silliness for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful to you for taking the time to watch and listen.
And remember, you can catch the live stream every Thursday at 2 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you turn on your notifications to get those alerts when we go live. Listen to the audio version later on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah. And remember, next week we will be live at Officers and Leaders in Rogers, but we will have to tell you
Yeah,
the time.
watch for updates.
Not now. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau, hosted by me, Jason Brown.
And me, Rob Anderson.
And our show is produced by Brian Pistol and Matthew Magdafrau.
We'll see you next week.